thinking about a Gaza Strip or so. He wants the peace, and I would like to give you a little tiny introduction about a Rotary peace project. From Iowa, there was a Rotarian, Jewett Fulton, 1931. He came to Vienna, the first kind of World Convention in Europe. And as an American, very typical for the time after the convention, for 6 weeks with his wife, he traveled around Europe. In Munich, they got drunk in the Hofbräu Keller. He had met these Munich Rotarians. We have the minutes of that meeting even. And when he was back in Keokuk, Iowa, at the Mississippi, west of Chicago, Jewett Fulton told his club, similar to the First World War, there is unrest in Europe, unemployment problems. He did not know there will be a Second World War. But this 31-year-old Rotarian said, we have to do something. Let's write peace pipe letters to all clubs outside of the United States. So 504 letters were typed in December and sent even to Rotary clubs in China and Cuba. And 40% of these clubs, over 200 answers came back. And in 2016, a Rotarian friend, Tony, discovered just by chance in a bank safe all these answers, and we published a book. Monica has it, Morten has it now. So 6 clubs out of the whole world were in Denmark, and they answered, and here are the wonderful Danish letters. And in 2019, the day the World Convention in Hamburg was opened, 135 Rotarians out of 21 countries came, and these are 2 Jewish friends from Jerusalem. And this is very short, 90 seconds.
Yogi Redman, Rotary Club, Northfield, Minnesota at Flensburg. I'm a historian from Northern Germany, and I have the pleasure to meet 2 wonderful Rotarian friends from Jerusalem. Dieter, who is from Hamburg originally, Ochsenzoll, Hamburg. Just say something about your club.
Our club was the first one in then Palestine, chartered in 1929, and this is the interesting thing, it's chartered of the initiative of Rotary in Cairo. In those days, the borders were different than from today.
Thank you, Dieter. Dan, thank you for coming to Flensburg. As you and I like this letter from December 23rd, 1931, highly moving, the Peace Pipe Project, this new chapter, 2019, what does it mean to you?
It means a lot for a very practical reason. First of all, I'm sure you're aware of the situation in the Middle East, let alone the fact that there are 2 clubs in Jerusalem, an Arab club and a Jewish club, that don't speak to each other. Oh shit. That you can cut out. But basically, you have to realize that the beauty of this lecture, that I'm just as enthusiastic as you are, was the fact that somebody there wrote, we are coming from so many different backgrounds, Jewish and Arabs and Americans and Brits and we disagree about a lot of things, but we are Rotarians, and that's what keeps us together. If you, and I saw a challenge at you, if you want to revive a concept of somehow, not in the same way necessarily, but bringing people together, start with Rotary in Palestine and Israel.
Thank you. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dieter. A pleasure. Have a good time. Many highballs. Moin, moin.
The letter he quoted, and that's the letter why we made this publication. In January 2023, I flew to Jerusalem, and we had a nice dinner and with a Jewish club. And next evening, I met Fadi Shurafa, the president of the Palestinian Arab Club, and we only drank Coke through 4 a.m. in the next morning. We hit it off. Whysoever, 3 weeks later, his daughter, Nadine, a pre-med student in Toronto, came to Northfield, stayed with us, and we could introduce Mayo Clinic. Here is the American Colony Hotel where the Arabs are meeting. And then I was visiting the Augusta Victoria Hospital in East Jerusalem, the largest Palestinian hospital, 1898. The spouse of the last German emperor, Augusta Victoria, her sister was Watercastle Glücksburg, so distant relatives or cousins, maybe even first grade, I'm not a specialist, to your wonderful royal family, to your former queen. And Nadine did internships already. Her father, the Rotary Club, is working for that Augusta Victoria Hospital. She came back from the Holy Land and rich Berlin business people in 1898 gave the money. And we now want to support that hospital. This is Holger Knag. Yesterday, he had invited me to his fine home in Ratzeburg near Lübeck. And we have a website, and we think right now, with all the Gaza problems and how Netanyahu is really destroying the West Bank, this is now the time to support the hospital. Just an overview where the letters came from, and even from Cuba and China and Alaska and Hawaii were not part of America in those days. And now one other story, how dictators kicked in, Stalin and Hitler. We know about the Stalin-Hitler Pact. The Estonian Tallinn Rotary Club in the 20s and very early 30s had a wonderful group of Rotarians, even the Prime Minister, who had signed with Stalin contract in 1922, but then Stalin later put him into the Gulag and so on. In Germany, the Berlin Club and many clubs went out of their way that Rotary can survive, and Rotary International had not only no problems with Hitler. Every year, the world president who came to Europe, they went out of the way to meet Hitler. There was one president in 1934 or 35, 3 times. He was in London and postponed his flight back because there was always the hope to meet him. And in 1935, a year before all Rotary clubs in Germany were dissolved, Hitler's favorite artist became a Rotarian, but nothing helped. Peace pipe letters, we had peace pipe ceremonies by Native Americans in Northfield behind these Native Americans is Jewett Fulton. Here is Holger again, and yesterday we discussed the situation of Rotary in the world. The membership is growing, but I hate to push you into depressions, but in a way, to make it kind of simple and clear, in America, Rotary is dead. It is dying. It's now 120,000 members had left, and people think because of Corona. 2016, district conference, southern Minnesota, and there was a guy, Tom Toffinson, he's now the strategic officer. He gave a charismatic speech, and every day He was flying from Minneapolis to Chicago as a volunteer for quite a while. He had ideas. How do we bring Rotary into the 21st century? And somehow failed. Luxembourg, here some more members, but the whole concept of Rotary, the first 2 clubs in my district died 2019, before Corona. So it's not a Corona thing. Somehow the spirit of the time is not supporting service clubs or choirs. My tennis club, I have now 2 tennis clubs, Harrisley and Flensburg. Nobody wants to be president or work. So that is kind of depressing. But this was 2019, the last huge World Convention in Hamburg. 2 buses came and we shuttled everybody from Flensburg to Grafenstein, to your wonderful summer castle. That's the background. They had to eat hot dog at Annie's, and this guy will be the future world president, Tom Gump. He was governor at the time in Minnesota. Here is Dieter from Jerusalem. Well, to make a long story short, that was the welcome with highball. We had a huge party apartment, a lot of fun, priceless, but unfortunately the clubs are struggling. When I turned 70, and yesterday we decided Holger is coming on May 4th, a Tuesday, and we will have a gigantic progressive party. So you guys are all invited as my special guest. Monica, please make sure that the boys and girls are coming. This will be life-changing, your life before that wild event. And now I have to thank you for your patience, for your interest, and I'm interested to learn about Mette. Mette had already in 2015-16 the magic stick, is that correct? And before maybe there is one person of you guys, I saw the monument of Günter Grass, and you guys know that with 16 he volunteered for the SS. So, but to make a long story, is there anybody to show me a little bit around after this talk, and I pay for the öl and coffee and cake? Well, we'll see. Okay, thank you for your attention.